morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming out on this weekend, on Saturday morning. Just to introduce myself, my name is Yogesh Gangapuram. I am the Senior Sales Engineer for Firemon, and along with me is Ashish Bali, who is the Country Manager for Firemon. And we are here to discuss about this cyber risk management strategy and how to plan. So what I'll be trying to do is that during the presentation, I'll try to discuss about the risk management and how exactly it matters, how you can develop your risk management, and then what are the benefits and how exactly Firemon can help you to achieve this. Okay, so as you all know that rising threats, day by day the threats are getting increasing and the attack surface is getting complex, right? And that's the reason you need to have a proactive defense. So, and to give you statistics, basically, till this day, we have been discovered 23,710 vulnerabilities. And in the last year, 2024, there was almost 40,000 vulnerabilities which were discovered, and which is the largest number of vulnerabilities which has been discovered across the years back. So there has to be some plan which needs to be there, right, so that you can have a proactive defense against it. Also, what we have seen is that the banks and the organizations are being hit by regulatories for the penalties, and the customers, and because of it, the customers and the partners lose trust. So what you need to do is that you need to have a structured strategy to improve your resource allocations. Okay, and that's how you will be able to anticipate and then recover from the disruptions. So that's where Firemon will be able to help you to visualize the risk, quantify the risk, and then reduce your attack surface. So how exactly you can develop your risk management? First of all, you need to understand the organization risk appetite, because every organization will have a different risk appetite. Every vertical will have a different risk appetite, but obviously the banking sectors are more riskier than any retail organizations in that case. So once you understand your risk appetite, you will be able to identify those risky assets. Where are actually your crown jewels? Where are those intellectual properties being resided? Where exactly those critical servers are there, right? So that's where you will be able to identify, and then you will be able to conduct the risk on a regular basis. So you need to have a regular cyber security risk assessment, which will help you to understand those gaps. And then you can prioritize those, and then you can take actions on those highly risky assets or the devices in that case, okay? Then you can plan the risk mitigation controls, okay, like what exactly needs to be closed, how to close those gaps, what exactly needs to be done, what steps need to be carried forward so that you can make sure that the controls are being there, and then you will be able to close those gaps. The most important part here is the documents. You need to have a proper documentation, like what exactly needs to be closed, how exactly this needs to be, like what are the steps to close those gaps, who is responsible to close those gaps, at what timeline this needs to be done. Because if you do all this stuff, okay, and you don't document it, then there is no use of doing all those stuff, and majority of the organizations has an issue with the documentations, and that's the reason the risk assessment plan fails. So documentation is very important here. And it's not a one-day activity, or it's not a one-time activity. It's a regular activity which you need to do. You need to keep on monitoring. You need to keep on updating your plans. You need to keep on updating your documents and adapt as per the risk which is being changing day by day. Okay. Okay, so what would be the benefits after you have a risk management strategy being there? You will improve your security posture, which will definitely help you to understand, okay, the gaps, and then if those gaps come up, or if anyone is able to exploit those vulnerabilities, or if anyone is able to attack, then you have the plans ready, right? So that's where the security posture is important. You will have been like the support compliance you will have the proper reports, the audited reports, and then you will be able to provide those compliance reports to your auditor so that they can see those, and then there won't be any penalties in that case. Even if there are any compliance gaps, you will have those exceptions, right, reports also. So, and this will lead to the trust, building the trust between your partners and your customers. This definitely aligns with your business goals, because what we have seen is that many of the times organizations' business rises drastically, but when it comes to the security, it is not aligning to those business growths, and that's where the growth of the business is stopped. So you need to be aligned with your security and the business goals, and that's where this will help you with the benefits, okay? And the last but not the least is the visibility. You will have the risk, you will know where exactly the risk is, and once you know those risks, then only you will be able to solve those or recover from those risks, okay? So this is how exactly we will be able to, this is the approach of ours. So first of all, what we do is the identify. We provide you the information about the list of all the assets or the devices which are there within your network, so we can identify those machines. We will be able to identify the security rules which are there within your firewalls. We will be able to tell you those objects which are there, NAT rules which are there. Okay, we will also be able to integrate with your vulnerability solution so that we can identify and tell you, okay, which are those security rules which are risky, which are able to getting exploited by the attackers in that case. So that's where the identification comes in. Assess. So once the identification happens, right, the second and the most important thing is to understand, okay, which are those, where exactly, which rules are getting changed frequently. Which are those vulnerabilities, where exactly those vulnerabilities lies, with which subnet the vulnerabilities lies, which can be exploited by the attackers in that case. And then we also provide you a real-time information of the change management. So that's where the assess part comes in, and then the mitigation control. So we can also tell you that how exactly this can be remediated. So if there are any compliance failures, right, so what exactly is the next step? What you need to do to make sure that the compliance are getting passed again? Which firewall is basically having more changes? Why exactly it is more changed? So you can take actions on those. And then in case if there are any vulnerabilities, then we can tell you that, okay, do you want to disable it for the time being? Is it the rules are getting opened for a critical or crown jewel machines? Or you want to delete those since it is not used much or unused in that case, okay? And then monitor it regularly, because as I said, it's not a one-day activity. It's a action which needs to be happening again and again. You need to make sure that these controls are getting passed on a regularly basis. You need to see that there are no unused or redundant policies within your firewalls which might expose to the outside world. And communicate, right? So this, so we can help you with the dashboard, customized dashboard where you can see what exactly are exposed, what are not exposed. We can provide you on a regularly basis email alerts, notifications in that case. Okay. So yeah, so this is our offering basically. We work on the 3C principles. This is our base model, which is called as Security Manager, Firemon Security Manager. So as I said, the 3C principles are basically the cleanup, change, and compliance. So cleanup is basically the policy review which you might be aware of. You know there would be a number of policies which are there within your network devices, irrespective whether it's firewall or network or like router switches or load balancers in that case. So over a period of time, what happens is there are like thousands of rules being there, right? So what happens is it's quite difficult for any network team or any human to go through all those rules and check whether those are really required or not, right? So that's where the tool comes into place. Once you onboard your firewalls or network devices, we can quickly tell you that, okay, these are the list of the rules which are unused from last 90 days, or these are the redundant rules, these are the duplicate rules, or these are the rules where loggings are disabled or comments are not there. So the actions can be taken accordingly. Then change. why exactly change information is important because of two parts. Let's take an example that someone has done the changes, right? And after that, the shift got over of that guy, right? And then the server got down. So no one will know why exactly the server got down. Everyone will try to troubleshoot that problem, recover from those issues quickly. And the second thing is compliance. PCI do mentions that you need to have a continuous compliance. So if because of any change, there is a drift in the compliance, that's where the real-time notification will help you, that the governance team can quickly go and see the rules and see, okay, tell that, okay, you have created this change. If it is not business sensitive, better to, again, redirect to the original rule because this is drifting my compliance, and then you will be out of compliance. And if it is business important, then you can whitelist it for a time being in that case. So that's where the change is very important on a real-time basis, and then the compliance I already mentioned. So we have out-of-box almost 80 different types of assessments which are available within our portal. You can use those, you can customize those compliances as per your requirement, and you can monitor those compliances accordingly. The second portion of our product is Policy Planner, which helps you to create the rules or delete the rules or modify the rules. Now the problem with with a day-to-day activity which you do in a manual basis is that you take almost a week to make sure that the network tickets gets closed, right? If someone has requested any change, then it takes almost a week to close those tickets. And after a week also, you're not sure that the rule has been created properly or not. There are high chances that the application owner will come back and tell that, okay, I am not getting the access till what you have done in that case, right? So that's where the tool is very important. What we will do is that once a request comes from the user, right, we can integrate with your ITSM tool from where you get those requests. We can integrate that, we can collect those information about the network rules. We will recommend you whether those rules needs to be created on a single firewall or a multiple firewalls, where exactly this rule needs to be created on top of some specific reference rules or below of specific rules. Is the rule really needed, or any slight modification is good enough so that the request can be achieved, okay? And then we provide you in the review. Again, with the normal process, what happens is when you do an approve as a CISOs or the CTOs or CIOs, right, you don't have much of the information that, okay, if this rule is being created, is it risky rule or is it drifting my any compliance? Because you don't have any information on that. So what we do is that when you integrate with us, okay, we provide you the list of the compliances which are getting failed because of this specific rule. Is there any vulnerability getting exposed? What exactly the risks are with respect to this rule, so that you can take actions. Like when you get more information about this, you are in a better position whether you want to approve or disapprove, right? So that's where we come into picture with the review, and then it would be implemented also. So Firemon can help you to implement those rules on your firewalls, irrespective whether it's like we work along with multiple vendors. We are compatible with almost all the firewalls which are there in the market. It would be a single pane of glass for you to manage also. The third product is with respect to Policy Optimizer. Now, as I said, PCI do mentions that you need to be compliant on a continuous basis. And also PCI do tells that for any PCI DSS certification, there is a requirement which is like 1.2.7 that all the PCI related rules must be reviewed and certified for every 6 months, right? So now you have created like almost like 50,000 or 1 lakh rules are there, right? It becomes literally impossible to go through each and every rule and get a confirmation from your application owner. So what we do is that we will send those rules or send an email to those application owner, and the email would be looking something like this. And the application owner has to mention that whether he needs this rule or not. If he needs those rules, then he can certify this rule and mention the reason also and the next date where exactly this can be expired, or after 6 months in that case. If he doesn't need this rule anymore, he can just disable, he can just mention whether he wants to disable this rule, delete this rule, or modify this rule, and then again give the justification so that you can take actions again accordingly on that case, right? And then it would be reviewed also, and you will be compliant with this PCI DSS 1.2.7, okay? Okay, the last thing what I wanted to say was about the case studies. Firemon is basically a global brand. It's a US-based company. Fortune 2000 customers, like organizations are already our customers. You name and we have those with us. You name Tesla, CrowdStrike, Juniper, Dell, McDonald's, AWS, all are using us as for the policy review. And some of the examples or case studies, this one of the banking customer. So they were not able to visualize the entire network, including when they acquire those banks, right? It becomes literally very difficult when you acquire some company. What exactly they are using, which assets they are, and all that stuff. So it becomes very complicated. So with us, with our asset visibility, we will be able to do a real-time discovery and visibility of those assets. We were able to refresh those scans and provide you the information about those assets, and we were able to show you the total network infrastructure with respect to firewall switches and all. And because of that topology, the discovery was done, and they were able to make sure that they assess those gaps, and then they were able to take actions on those in case if there are any gaps. Second case study is with respect to the technology. So I purposefully took 4 use cases which are with different verticals so that you understand that we are already available on different verticals and different vertical needs us in that case. So this was a technology. So US telecom company again. They were manually doing this policy review for Palo Alto, Cisco, Juniper, and F5 devices. But obvious, when you do a manual, there would be a human error. And that's where it was an error-prone process, basically. So we were able to provide those automation solutions, and we were able to help them with the continuous compliances. So this is, again, a technology company, but this is into ITES. So yeah, so they were, again, nearly impossible to acquire. The compliance audits for almost all the different types of firewalls, multiple management consoles were there, and that's where we came into picture as a single pane of glass for almost all the firewalls. We were able to provide the compliance report within a single PDF, which made their life easy, and that's where they bought us. And the last case study is about manufacturing company. Again, the risk appetite for the manufacturing company is a bit less, but yes, still, when it comes to an enterprise manufacturing company, they are also being targeted a lot. So as I said, because of that humorous business growth, their security environment scaled faster than the manual process. They were not able to keep up with the manual process, and that's where the automation came into picture. And we were able to provide them with the automation and make sure that their growth is not down. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Thank you so much for listening to me. In case if you have any questions, you can. Otherwise, we can talk during the sessions.